Is it time to become FSG-OUT? Welcome back to Tima podcast, and today we will be talking about Liverpool and what is going on at Liverpool. Now, this is not a crisis. We've just come off the back of drawing Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. So nothing bad at all there. We're still 4 points clear of Arsenal with the game in hand. There's no reason to panic. There's no reason to get worried. We are fine for now. However, this episode is not a reactionary episode to the game. On the contrary, this is a more broader looking statement on where we are going as a club. I have voiced my kind of questions and doubts over FSG, our owners, and over our recruitment policy. And I still hold by that stance today. Because once again, we are in another transfer window and we're making no signings. As a Liverpool fan, I'm becoming increasingly frustrated and vexed and irritated by the lack of action from our recruitment team, a lack of action from the club, a lack of commitment from the owners. What are we doing? In the last 3 transfer windows, winter, summer, winter, we have signed one player for 50 million euros. That's all. Is that really the team who wants to go forward? And every single time, we Liverpool fans are being told rubbish excuses. First, we don't have the funds. Then we cannot find the player. We cannot find a defensive midfielder. The player declined us. Zubimendi didn't want us. This didn't happen. Kvaratskhelia went on to PSG. We Liverpool fans are like sitting on a boat, watching all these boats cross the channel, and we're doing nothing. We're doing absolutely nothing about it. This is becoming ridiculous. And I'm surprised by the lack of frustration from Liverpool fans. We might be top of the league, but do not let that blind you to what's going on at the club. 3 key contracts are not signed. No signings. Zero. We have spent 50 million euros in the last 18 months. 3 transfer windows. Is that what you call ambition? Is that what you call desire from the owners, from the club management? And I don't want to hear this whole narrative, oh, you know what? It's not FSG, it's not the club owners, it's the recruitment team. I look at the club management as a whole. I look at the club as a whole. I look at what they've done as a whole. I'm not going to start blaming it on Richard Hughes or Julian Edwards or a certain guy, the CEO or the CFO. It doesn't matter to me. I'm looking at the way the club is run. And the facts are, Liverpool is being terribly managed on the players' side right now. It's an absolute disgrace and it deserves calling out for. Shout out to Anfield Agenda and Craig Holden, who is actually standing up there and representing true fan opinions, for standing up for the truth and making our voices heard and saying what needs to be said. This is a joke. This is an absolute joke. What is going on? What is going on? Another January transfer window is missing. No signings. We know we need a replacement defensive midfielder. We are already seeing the drop-off in recent form. Drawing to Fulham, drawing to Newcastle, losing to Spurs, drawing to Nottingham Forest. We are starting to see the drop-off in performance, drawing to United. I'm not saying we're in crisis. It is absolutely natural to have these ebbs and flows in the season. But however, we are starting to see that the team is a little bit tired. In midfield, Ryan Gravenberch needs a rest. We are practically abusing him by playing him so much. We cannot spam play him as if it's FIFA career mode. This is not a computer game. This is a young, prosperous player who can be phenomenal and fantastic. But he needs to be rested and rotated. We cannot just expect him now suddenly to play every single game and be fine. And most of his games are full 90s, which makes it even more concerning. McAllister again, constantly being played because we just don't have another player. We don't have another defensive midfielder. Oh, sorry, we do. It's Wataru Endo, but the manager doesn't trust him. We move on to the question of left back. We do need to think about left back. We've not thought about signing any defensive players in many years. When will we think about a left back? When are we going to look at our squad and actually be like, you know what? It's about time we sign someone left back. It's about time we get another striker to replace Darwin Núñez, who is not performing. It's about time that we sign a proper backup to Mo Salah. We signed Federico Chiesa for 50 million euros, and nobody else wanted him for a reason. There was a reason. It was not for free. And I was rather naive to believe that we got this bargain steal, Federico Chiesa, come on, he's going to be phenomenal. I called him the bargain transfer of the window. I thought genuinely that he could be one of the best transfers in the Premier League this season. But however, I admit, the reason why nobody wanted him is because he had fitness issues. So we went on and signed a guy who clearly has fitness issues to try to support a team who went through a massive injury crisis the season before. Please make this work. Please just make this work. Players are leaving and we're not replacing them. We've loaned out a lot of young talent, which is understandable. Ben Doak, Stefan Baršić, I understand that. We've also sold players like Bobby Clark. Then Joel Matip, a fantastic player, has moved on. People are moving on and we do need to line up replacements. I think it is imperative to sign a defensive midfielder this window. It is imperative. We desperately need some backup in this position because Arne Slot's entire system is reliant on having a midfielder, a defensive midfielder. Our entire system relies on possession and control the midfield. This is how we play. We need to have a backup defensive midfielder. We need to have someone who can protect the back line like Gravenberch, but also be able to apply pressure, win back the ball, and contribute towards our possession style. And unfortunately, Wataru Endo, despite how much I respect him, he's not the guy. He just does not fit the system. He just doesn't. And unfortunately, it's not Wataru Endo's fault. It's not Arne Slot's fault. He could be a great squad player, but we need to have someone in backup for Ryan Gravenberch. It's a joke. How many more years do we wait to sign a defensive midfielder? How many more players do we get linked with and they go away? Martin Zubimendi, Romeo Lavia, Moises Caicedo, Aurelien Tchouaméni. Shall I keep going? It's a joke. It's almost like we fans are being, like pranked with and joked about. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia is being linked to Liverpool. No, he's not. That's a joke. We're trying to be deluded into thinking that something's happening. They're trying to delude us into believing like, yes, Liverpool are out and trying to do something. When have we tried to do something? The last time we have made a significant signing was August 2023 when we signed Ryan Gravenberch for 35 million. Or something around that. The large major signing we made, more than £50 million, was Dominik Szoboszlai in July 2023. Now, August 2023, hello, we are in January 2025. Please explain why since then we have spent 50 million euros and done nothing to try to back up our squad. In a season where we're now going for the title. Do not bottle it. Don't you dare bottle this title because of being cheap. Don't you dare bottle this title because of not wanting to renew contracts. It's a joke. I will talk about the contracts later. That's why I get even more angrier. But Liverpool, FSG, recruitment team, Richard Hughes, we need that backup in Ryan Gravenberch. We need a backup to him, right? We have heard this narrative, this yap about there isn't anyone out there for far too long. How much longer do we hear this nonsense argument that there's nobody out there? There are players out there. We just don't go for them. They're either too expensive, like Aurelien Tchouaméni potentially, or other players, or they're not good enough, like Manu Kone, Kefren Thuram, or Andre. We need to find someone because one injury in midfield and we could face a crisis. And the thought of bottling this title, which will not happen of course, I'm sure, but do not let it happen. We need to back up. This team, you can see, it's losing a bit of energy. It's losing a little bit of steam. We need to do that injection of energy like we did in that 21-22 season. When we signed Luis Diaz, we didn't need a winger. But we signed him and he made a positive impact on the season and contributed towards our success, winning trophies, 2 trophies in 2 years. Anyways, he contributed to, like, if you know, Erik ten Hag, of course, 2 trophies in 2 years, the famous line he always said. But yeah, on the real though, we won 2 trophies that season. I know we didn't win the Champions League nor the Premier League, but the signing of Luis Diaz that winter actually really helped our attack, gave us more energy, and then he proceeded to start in a Champions League final. It just shows you how impactful and powerful a signing can be in January. We signed Virgil van Dijk in January, so don't disrespect the January transfer window. We signed Cody Gakpo in January, so you can really make business in January and you can really improve your squad. Absolutely you can. Look at how brilliant Cody Gakpo is. That was a January signing. So yes, you can do things in January. Absolutely you can. So signings are imperative. And Richard Hughes Got no idea what that guy's been doing since he joined. Julian Edwards might as well have not rejoined because I'm just not seeing what are they doing. We might as well have no sporting director, just relax and chill until we need it. Seriously, let's get a part-time sporting director. We don't need a sporting director. For what? We don't need a recruitment team. We don't need all these guys. For what? If nothing's going on, what's the point? It's just a complete joke. And of course, some people might say, oh, a sporting director does more than just transfers. Yes, I know that. But my point being is, what's the point of having a recruitment team if we're not recruiting anyone? Come on, that doesn't make any sense. And no, Rio and Gamboa, the young Chelsea 16-year-old we signed, was a great addition, but I'm not going to count that as a proper signing as per se. It's not like we went out and started a bidding war for him. So no. And now we move on to the topic that I'm very angry about. Now we move on to the topic that will really make me angry because we all Liverpool fans are super angry. The contracts. What can I say? With Trent Alexander-Arnold, I genuinely cannot criticize FSG, nor the club owners, nor Richard Hughes, because as far as we are concerned, we see radio silence from Trent. We don't know if he wants to stay. We don't know if he wants to leave. We know Liverpool have given him an offer apparently, but we don't know what he thinks of it. So I cannot really blame the club for this. The fact that it went to this point is mainly because the club apparently did not want to give him a new offer before Klopp announced he's leaving, because that would be quite disingenuous from the club. So respect for that, but since then we don't know why it's not being signed. Is it because Trent is being ridiculous and asking for a ridiculous fee? Maybe. Is it because he wants to leave Liverpool? Maybe. Is it because he's a traitor and he wants to run away, scamper off to Real Madrid? Maybe. I don't know. Trent is an entirely separate topic, but today's episode is focusing on the club management. I'm not going to start talking about Trent, whether or not he's being disrespectful right now. Well, I think he's being disrespectful, by the way. I do think he's being very dishonorable in how he's handling everything. But the focus today is really the club management side. So, absolutely not. I can't really blame the club management unless we have further details. But with Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, we will never know right now what was the offer offered to Van Dijk and to Salah. We don't know. But what I do know is that it's a joke that we let these two players go into the last year of their contract and go into January. I think these are two players who we could have definitely thought about before, and both of them have expressed a desire to stay. And I think that with them it's more a case of that we do need to think a bit outside the box. It's almost like we had this wage structure in place, and we try to put everything inside the wage structure. We have this structure of how we do things, and we don't want to go outside of it. And it's so frustrating as a Liverpool fan because we want to see Van Dijk and Salah stay. I think that they're such significant players that you must consider they're more than just your wage structure. Someone like Mo Salah is a generational talent. He's one of the best players in the world, one of the greatest wingers in the Premier League era. So we cannot just say, you know what, our wage structure says he should be only getting $350k a week, hence he cannot get more. I think you kind of have to make exceptions with players like that. And what really makes me frustrated is I'm so angry how other clubs are going out there, spending, paying high wages, and they're fine. And we Liverpool fans always have to put up with this cheapness. And Liverpool fans always try to justify and argue, yes, we're financially stable, yes, we're not cheating, yes, we haven't got 115, yes, we're not Real Madrid, yes, we're more financially sustainable. But I don't really get this. Apparently we're going to make a record turnover this year. Apparently we don't have any PSR or FFP issues. So why are we being so cheap? If the financials are fine, which they are, we can afford to add a more wage bill. We let go of Thiago Alcantara, João Matip, and Adrian in the summer. That's a chunk of the wage bill off. 200,000 per week was Thiago. Probably Adrian, Matip, and then also Fabio Carvalho combined. You take off that wages, we cut quite a nice big slice out of the wage, and I don't see a reason why we can't boost Van Dijk's and Salah's contracts, because they deserve it. They truly deserve it. I think when you're talking about the best players in the world, you look at, for instance, what are the best players in the world receiving? You look at Erling Haaland, who is getting apparently 400k a week. David Alaba at Real Madrid is somehow getting 500k. Mbappe is getting 500k. So I do think that you kind of have to be like, all right, we usually don't pay high wages, but we also have to recognize these are exceptional circumstances. So I'm just so vexed that we're not doing it. Seriously, I'm so vexed. It's such a colossal club failure to not pin down players to the contract. It's completely on the club. It's completely on the club's management to keep your best players and keep them happy and keep them in the squad. So you've done something absolutely terribly wrong. I don't think Trent, Mo and Van Dijk have all simultaneously become absurd and ridiculous in their contract demands. I don't think Van Dijk's sitting there and saying, I want 800k a week. I don't think Mo's saying he wants $1 million a week. I think that what is really probably the case is the club are lowballing it, as Craig says from Anfield Agenda. The club are lowballing it and these players are happy with it because Van Dijk is the best centre-back in the world and he wants to be credited for that. He is a senior player, he's the captain, he deserves a high wage, right? Other players at other clubs who are much worse than Van Dijk are getting much higher salaries. 220k a week, which is what he's being paid, I think, is to be fair quite low for a player of his stature. You know, as I said, David Alaba is getting I think 500k a week at Real Madrid, either 500 or 450k. He's getting a hefty fee there. You look at other players like Jack Grealish, John Stones, Kevin De Bruyne, very, very high wages as well. Even Bruno is now getting 300k a week. So Van Dijk is probably thinking to himself, you know, I want to also get a high wage. And what Liverpool must realize is, why should players stay and want to come to Liverpool if we don't offer what other clubs offer? If clubs like Man City and Real Madrid can offer you more wages and more trophies, why go to Liverpool? Seriously, if you're a player, if you're someone like Mo Salah or Van Dijk, you can probably get a much higher salary elsewhere. So why should you stay at Liverpool who keep on just relying on your love for the club? Well, realistically, it should be a case of, alright, we recognize your achievements and you get a higher salary, like it works in many other clubs. I don't know why we have to operate on these bizarre, restrictions on wage limits and stuff. I do think that we have to think a little bit outside the box, and it's just frustrating. It's really frustrating not signing the top class players, walking away from the Jude Bellingham deal, not giving players extensions, not giving them pay rises, being cheap. I'm having enough of it. I'm just simply having enough of it. I don't want to yet say I'm FSG out because January hasn't ended. But honestly, if January ends and there's zero contract extensions and zero signings, I think I will become FSG out. I'm sorry, I can't take it. It's becoming a joke. I don't know who I would like to replace FSG, but I'm becoming sick and tired of this cheap attitude that's costing us so much. The cheap attitude why we didn't sign a proper centre-back in the 2021 season. The cheapness, the stupidity as to why we never signed a midfielder for years and then had a collapse in 22-23. They're, again, trying to save money, not sign world-class players like Bellingham. And now we're trying to not extend the deals of our best players, which is undermining the squad. And we're being told that it's not impacting anything. Of course it is. Of course it is. 3 key players might leave on a free. It's a disgrace, it's shambles, and the club should know better. This is not a club that's being well run. A well-run club does not let 3 key players go into the last year of their deal. And I really hope I'm proven wrong and the extensions are given. And I'll gladly be... I'm not wrong. As it stands, I'm right. So even if it happens, nonetheless, it's very delayed. It should have happened earlier. And all 3 should be staying. I don't get this stupid mentality where, for some reason, certain fans are okay with, let's say, Mo leaving. I've heard that argument in the summer. People genuinely saying that they will be okay with Mo Salah leaving. Are you joking? You're joking, Mo Salah leaving. People saying, yeah, Trent can go, Bradley's better. Yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, one of the best right backs in the world, and you're just pretending like some youngster who hasn't even proven himself over the course of an entire proper year. Conor Bradley just got into the team last December, and now he's somehow better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. So some Liverpool fans just want to engage in this kind of strange, justifying, apologetic behavior, maybe to make themselves feel better. I don't know. Don't know why certain fans do it. I really like fans like Craig, who call things out for how they are, blunt and honest. And I'll be the same. I'm being blunt and honest here. It's a joke. It's a disgrace. Contract disaster. Signings shambles. Don't know what we're doing off the pitch. Honestly, it's an absolute joke. The results on the pitch might as well be undermined very soon by this. And they already are. We are already seeing the impacts of the lack of energy in certain areas of the pitch. We are already seeing the impacts, for instance, Trent and Mo potentially. It will get to them. It always will. You can't just imagine that football players are robots who will be always 100% professional. That's not true. The pressure is piling on and FSG needs to act. The club needs to act. Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, do something. Seriously, do something. Prove yourselves to the fans. We fans are demanding something from the club. We're demanding to see change and improvement. We want to see that. So I do hope it happens. I really do. So, you'll never walk alone. This was a rather, I guess, frustrated episode to start the new year with. And obviously, I guess coming back from my kind of break in podcasting and YouTube, I kind of want to say what was on my mind the most, really. That's the topic that's been on my mind the most. And I really just wanted to make my voice heard on this, because I think it's important that each Liverpool fan makes their voice heard and speaks the truth. Because the more people who say the truth, the more it'll be heard. And hopefully, eventually, somebody will listen to it. So, yeah, I wish you all the best. You'll never walk alone. We're hopefully winning the league. But let's do this, boys. Come on, let's win this.